Let me guess. Your child doesn't have one speed. One moment they're bouncing off the walls, shouting, spinning, climbing on furniture, and melting down when something doesn't go their way. The next moment, they're completely zoned out and disconnected. Blank stare, can't follow instructions. It's like they're in the room, but not really there. You've tried the parenting books, the behavior and reward charts, maybe even the meds, and still you're left asking, why is my child like this? And more importantly, how do I actually help them? Here's the truth that no one's telling you. What we label as ADHD or ADD is often just the tip of the iceberg. Underneath those labels are two very different nervous system patterns. We call them raging bulls and drunken bulls, so that we can both make sense of the symptoms and everyday challenges that come from them, but most importantly, so that we can also make sense of what's going on in the nervous system as far as dysregulation and what's actually causing them. The raging bull ADHD type is stuck on, flooded with energy, impulsivity, and big emotions that can't be controlled, while the drunken bull ADD type is often shut down, exhausted, foggy, slow to process, overwhelmed by everything around them. And if you don't understand which kind of bull is charging through your child's brain, you'll keep chasing the wrong solutions. Today, we're breaking down the real neurological root causes of these behaviors and, most importantly, showing you how hope, healing, and true transformation are possible, all without dangerous drugs and medications. Because your child isn't broken, they don't need more labels, they need answers, they need understanding, and they need a care plan that finally gets it right. Let's dive in. According to the CDC, an estimated 7 million children in the United States have been diagnosed with ADHD. Approximately 3.5 million children in the United States, or about 69% of these diagnosed with ADHD, are currently prescribed medication for the condition. Here's the top 10 most common and concerning side effects of ADHD medication in kids. Sleep problems or insomnia. Many kids have trouble falling asleep or staying asleep, which worsens behavior and focus the next day. Appetite suppression, significant decrease in hunger, often leading to weight loss or nutritional deficiencies over time. Emotional dysregulation and irritability, increased mood swings, frustration, and even aggression, especially as the medication wears off, that rebound effect. Anxiety and nervousness, heightened worry, restlessness, or panic, even in kids without prior anxiety issues. Tics or involuntary movements, new or worsened motor or vocal tics can appear, which may or may not be reversible. Headaches. Persistent headaches are a frequent complaint, particularly when first starting meds or adjusting dosage. Stomach pain and nausea. Discomfort can make it hard for kids to focus or function normally during the day. Increased blood pressure and heart rate. Stimulants can raise cardiovascular markers, which might be risky in some children. And lastly, social withdrawal or that zombie-like behavior. Some kids become emotionally flat, withdrawn, or lose their spark and personality. These medications do not address the root cause, which is often a stressed, dysregulated nervous system and can lead to a cycle of chasing symptoms, adjusting dosages, or layering on more meds like sleep aids or anxiety meds. Let's talk about the evolution of terminology, ADD versus ADHD. What many parents don't realize is that ADD is actually an outdated term that is no longer used in the official diagnostic manual, the DSM-5. Today, all attention disorders fall under ADHD with 3 different presentations, predominantly inattentive, formerly known as ADD, predominantly hyperactive, impulsive, and combined presentation. This change in terminology reflects our growing understanding that attention deficits and hyperactivity often co-occur and stem from the same neurological root, even if they manifest differently in individual children. This leads us to the raging bull versus the drunken bull analogy. In our practice, we've found it helpful to describe children with the hyperactive, impulsive presentation as having a raging bull tendency. Their minds are constantly racing, their bodies need to move, and they struggle to slow down during quiet, focused activities. Children with predominantly inattentive presentation, formerly ADD, demonstrate more of a drunken bull pattern. They appear spacey, forgetful, disorganized, and have difficulty staying on task or following directions. What's fascinating is how often these patterns evolve into each other over time. The hyperactive kid can develop attention issues as they become frustrated with academic challenges, while the inattentive child can become hyperactive from the built-up stress and anxiety of constantly struggling. With this background knowledge, let's dive into the true neurological roots of ADHD. At the core of both of these presentations lies a complex interplay of neurological factors that impact a child's ability to regulate attention, behavior, and emotions. These three key elements we find most often are subluxation and sympathetic dominance. This involves misalignments, tension, and restricted mobility within the neurospinal system that interfere with how the brain and body communicate. These physical disruptions, often stemming from birth trauma or early injuries, create noise in the nervous system. The second is that nervous system dysregulation and dysautonomia, or imbalance. When subluxation persists, it throws the autonomic nervous system out of balance, often leaving children stuck in a heightened fight or flight response that makes calm focus nearly impossible. And third is vagus nerve disruption. The vagus nerve is essential for activating the rest and regulate parasympathetic response. When it's not functioning properly, children struggle to regulate emotions, attention, and behavior. The best part is that we can find and measure your child's nervous system stress patterns and root cause with our neurological insight scans. Here is one example of a raging bull where we're talking about ADHD. And what we see in these scans is that there's too much energy. The organization might be there, but there's too much feeding into it. And then if we switch here to a drunken bull or that ADD type, here's where you see a very low organization where things are disorganized, disconnected, and the energy just isn't there either. Here's what every parent needs to know. Millions of kids today are either struggling with undiagnosed ADHD or have a diagnosis but are still stuck in the same cycle of symptoms, side effects, and little to no progress. That's because most ADHD tests and treatment plans stop at surface level symptoms. They label the child, but they don't look deeper into the root cause. True ADHD struggles begin in the brain and nervous system, and unless we measure what's happening under the surface, we miss the most important part. Our neurological insight scans don't just label, they measure and map out what's causing the chaos, so a customized drug-free care plan can be created to help your child calm their brain, regain focus, and thrive. If you're tired of guessing, tired of meds that don't work, or tired of watching your child struggle without answers, it's time to take a deeper look. It's time to turn your child's struggle into a superpower. To learn more, you can comment below or visit the link in our bio on Instagram and send us a DM.